What's up, everybody? Welcome back to more Blood and Plunder for the channel as we're going to start working our way into the Native American factions. Now, there is a big overview here of a couple of sort of rules and restrictions that apply to all of them, so let's get those out of the way. The force may not include any size 2 or larger ships. Makes sense, right? Mainly sticking to the smaller ones that are out there. Obviously, they didn't have access to the larger European-style ships. That's A-okay. If this force is the attacker in the scenario, it may deploy half of its units round down, following the lay-in-wait scenario rule, which basically is working in some ambush tactics, which is really cool. So having that serve as a blanket rule for the Native Americans is flavorful and makes sense, and can lead to some fun shenanigans as far as how we approach taking on an enemy force. Any ship that is included in the force, though, gains the paddles trait for free. So again, always fun when there's no cost for gaining abilities, especially when those abilities don't hurt you. And then none of them may include artillery, so no access to any cannons of any type, or including swivels. So the first force we're going to look at today is the Caribs, and covering roughly 1635 to 1796. So these guys pack a couple of special rules, additional force special rules, and they get a nice little bundle of additional rules here. Now, they get Ruthless and Cunning for free, so that helps out on, again, Ruthless being, if you are shooting at or fighting against a unit that has more fatigue than you get a bonus to your rolls there, so that's always nice. So timing it right and being smart and selective with when and how you engage certain units, enemy units, is crucial, and so certainly trying to apply fatigue here and there, even if you don't get kills right away, is a crucial stepping stone to then, getting more hits on them, and then hopefully leading to more casualties. Cunning is great if you're needing to fall back, and then the Sound of Thunder is something that does plague a lot of the Native American factions. So basically, if they're being shot at by gunpowder, they roll additional fatigue, which, again, so kind of like being scared of the loud sound of gunfire. So a little bit of a drawback, but again, different things you can do to try and mitigate that, and really just work on some of the sneakier tactics with the forces you have available to really focus down a lot of the opposing forces, hopefully get them shaken and things like that. But that gets into some more advanced things we'll cover in other video series. The other one, though, any units with bows, so you might want to lean heavily on as much of that as you can in the list. Bow-armed units may add the poisoned arrows equipment to the entire unit for 3 points. So obviously adding cost to the unit, but poison arrows do make all those bow units a little more lethal. So the list breaks down, so you're going to see a lot of this over the different factions here. But you have a good selection of core and support. So you got the warrior archers, as we can see above, right? So definitely think about giving them poison arrows. The young warriors, the unaligned African warriors, warrior musketeers, and then just regular warriors as well. So you have a little bit of a mix between some musket armed troops. They're not going to be the greatest, but then also some archer units. So they can they all have their different little special rules and things as well. But you have a good mix between units that can certainly throw out plenty of missile fire with the bows. Again, ideally poisoned. You got some musketeers that, again, aren't great, stacking up against some of the more elite units that are out there from the other European factions. But a lot of these units are definitely capable in close combat as well. Command options that we get: any Southern Tribes commander, Captain Tabari, or Captain Peter. So a couple of special characters. And then if we were playing these guys at the army scale, so the larger ones, we have some interesting allies here. Basically a couple different flavors of militia. So we get access to French, English, and Spanish militia, and specifically the Caribbean militia lists for the French and English. No Dutch listed in here, so you have that, though. So an interesting list. Again, just getting blanket, ruthless, and cunning across the board is awesome. And then ideally, I think with the list, we really want to try and exploit poison arrows as much as possible. But certainly not skimping on some of the other units as well. So the bows and arrows are really only going to do so much work for you. So you definitely want a little bit of variety there. But then factoring that into with, again, some of the things that we get as the faction-wide rules and restrictions here. So again, we're not going to get larger ships, but if we're playing naval or amphibious, again, it's just going to be a lot of smaller ships. It's nice that we get the paddles for free, and I mean, things that we would already kind of come to expect, right? Yeah, we're not going to have access to artillery, so let's not worry about that, and instead focus on playing to the strengths of the army. And again, not forgetting about taking advantage of that and really forming a game plan around lay and wait as much as possible, just to mess with the opponent as early as possible, since a lot of times your own troops aren't necessarily going to be as quality in different aspects as their European counterparts. But a fun list to try out as well. Let us know, guys, if you've played Caribs, how you focused on building them, where you've had success and where you've struggled. Hit us up in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll have more Blood and Plunder for you soon.